What is it to be connected to God? What does the soul feel like? What is enlightenment? The dilemma here is the experience is one, not of the mind. Not that the mind is bad, but the mind has a function, which is it creates separation. It looks at things. It figures things out. That's how the mind works. And when you are experiencing the divine, whether you're connecting with God outside of you, whether you're in a temple, you're on the banks of Ganga, you're seeing a sunset, you're whatever it may be, or whether you're connecting with God within yourself, or whether you're connecting with yourself but you don't like the word God and so you're connecting with your soul. In all of those, it's an experience of losing that which keeps me separate. It's an experience of losing that with which I've always identified. And so the dilemma then comes. The mind can't wrap itself around it. The mind doesn't know what to do with that. Because the minute that you go back to the mind, you've lost the experience. The minute you start naming it, describing it, analyzing it, you're pulling yourself out. And the minute that you try to use words, again, you're limiting it. And the experience is really one of oneness. And so we can dance around it. I want to give you something in sincerity because your question is so sincere, but I want you to understand the difficulty of doing this. There's actually, before I even go there, there's a great story of Paramhans Ramakrishna, whose disciples ask him, he's a great mystic, incredible saint of the Indian tradition, and his disciples are asking him, forget the exact question, but something about the higher chakras, what it's like when he actually is, all of his higher chakras are opening and he's connecting with the Divine Mother. And so he starts, wait, I take it back. So they're asking him about the chakras, all of them, to go from the lower to the higher. So he begins and he's describing the lower chakras and one by one, and he's doing it very, logically and with words, and here's what this one is like, and here's what this one feels like. And as he gets up to the heart chakra, he enters samadhi, like he can't speak, and he enters his trance, and his disciples just wait. And I think his disciples spent a lot of time just sitting around, waiting for him to come out of samadhi and experiencing that with him. So this happens several times. He'll come out and he's like, okay, I'll start again. And he starts again, and he does it several times. And finally he just looks at them and he's got tears in his eyes and he says, I'm trying to tell you, but the mother won't let me. And that's by far the best and the most articulate description that I've ever heard. So we can dance around it. And in that dance around it, what I can share just in terms of the tiny, tiny, tiny tastes that I've been given, which is all of that you think of as self is not there. It's not that it disappears, but it's no longer binding. It no longer is you. It's still there, but you're not it. And that includes all of the stuff in the head and in the mind, all of what you think, all of who you think you are. It dissolves. And everything is just so beautiful. Because in everything, first of all, there is no distinction, there is no difference. There's an experience of sight, of seeing it all as just a play of energy, of light, of color. And of seeing it all just as divine. And so any aspect of the self that was hooked into any bit of the experience not being perfect and divine, that just melts. And it's so perfect and it's so beautiful. And it's for me at least, an ecstatic stillness. So it's not a stillness that's boring, but a stillness in which you can barely catch the breath in the beauty and in the ecstasy of it. In those moments. And then, interestingly, there are also moments where it is absolutely just still. Where it's just space. And I'm sure that as life goes on, if I continue to be blessed with these tastes, who knows what new ways the experience will manifest itself in. But it's a state of being, even if it only lasts a few minutes or a few hours. It's a state, a place rather than an emotion or an experience. An experience kind of comes and goes, a feeling comes and goes. This feels much more like a place you are in. So even though it doesn't always last very long, when it's there, it feels like there's never been anything before it and there'll never be anything after it. And this is all there is. And it's all just really beautiful and perfect and awe-inspiring and spacious and still.